To introduce Mr. Siddesh Joglekar. He is an associate VP at Think and Learn, Byju's. Siddesh, one second. Siddesh is an alumnus of IIM Calcutta, and then he has handled various aspects of product and businesses at byju's.com. He was also a product owner with People Interactive like Shadi.com, handling the product side of the payment and sales, etc. And also he has worked on a lot of CMR verticals. He's an alumnus of IIM Calcutta, and we have Siddesh, who is going to give a talk on product marketing today. Over to Siddesh. I think he'll introduce.
Thank you. So the mic. Yeah, absolutely. So let the mic be with the class for questions. See, first of all, thanks to Gayatri and Pinkesh for inviting me over here. Glad to be here. Very, I would say, very serendipitous kind of a meeting. I was here in Bangalore for three days, and they, sort of, it just happened that okay, we just we have been in touch for a couple of months, but then it just quickly happened, and I'm here. So glad to be here, first of all, and would like to sort of keep this session very interactive, because that's how best marketing ideas, best product ideas, and even effectively the best product and marketing combo kind of ideas sort of evolve. Yeah. So before we get into some kind of a sermon mode, which I really hate to call it. Let's sort of discuss what do you expect? What are you wanting to discuss in this 45-60 minutes of discussion? Yeah, anyone? Yes. Sure. Challenges? Sure. Yes. Sure. Nice. Sure. Yes. Sure. Sure. Yes. Yes. Sure. Sure. Great. Budget. Yeah. Yes. Sure.
So balancing between different VCs and their views and visions, and how.
Very, very interesting question. Can I connect the projector now? So while they connect the projector, Yes. Sure. So going. Great. Yes. Sure. Maybe something something here? Yeah, great. So I think yeah. Sure. So see, for product marketing, right? So what is product marketing first of all? So product marketing changes with sector and with every industry, right? To sort of quickly have a look at what product marketing could be. You can sort of if you sort of plot sectors on these factors, okay, wherein low to high value of products and services versus engagement and standardization. Sort of you plot this graph. So wherein engagement is high here and engagement is low over here. So low engagement obviously means high standardization. So for example, the definition of product marketing in the context of mobile recharges. So mobile recharges would come somewhere over here. Yeah. So mobile recharges come somewhere over here, right? So in this context, what has happened is mobile recharges is a highly standardized product. Maybe the average value of a mobile recharge, which is like 30 to 50 rupees, which is what is happening in India right now, right? You can consider it somewhere over here. So in this context, a product marketing could be reaching out, just creating massive awareness, right? That's what. So if you look at what Airtels and the Ideas and the Jios of the world are doing, those guys are trying to build more and more awareness. Their marketing is not really about obviously they are present on all omni channels. They are present on, they have their own apps, they have their Paytms and they have their MobiQuicks and free charges, all of them that they are present. But largely the idea is wherever you go, more the distribution, more the likelihood that this will turn around faster, right? So something similar is being tried by Kindle in the context of Kindle ebooks. Right? Kindle ebooks again is sort of a highly standardized product, but maybe not as standardized as a recharge, a mobile recharge. So this is a recharge. In the context of Kindle ebooks, it is about finding what is your reader profile and then market the right books to you. For example, someone who is not interested in non-fiction, there is no point in showing him a Wings of Fire as a book, right? So their product marketing changes. There it is very, very important to sort of gauge customer profiles by doing multiple kind of experiments, right? So for example, how do you determine whether a person who is interested in what regional language books? Then you start throwing some, if you are seen at the way in which Amazon feeds come to you, if you go to the book section, every time there is some difference. So all of that is algorithmic, right? In that context, product marketing sort of would be about identifying what kind of a reader are you and then delivering the right kind of recommendations. So over there, product marketing sort of becomes more an analytical kind of a thing. So it will be about mapping the reader propensity and the genre propensity in such a way that you determine you extract maximum value out of the reader. Something like that. So I would say both of these would be in this quadrant, sort of high standardization and low value. Now let's look at low standardization but low price but high engagement. Can you sort of define some products over here in this genre? FMCG, right? FMCG would be somewhere over here. So soaps, yeah. Your detergents would be slightly on the right. Right? So if you think of product marketing in this context, right, I would say product marketing for this context would be very different. Product marketing in this context, if you think about it, the number of percentage share of digital channels would be low fundamentally, because say Cadbury as a brand will finally be only bought offline. Yeah. So that will come in this kind of a genre, right? So in this context, product marketing would be about creating a massive brand perception. In this context, product marketing would be very almost equivalent to branding. So for example, if you look at today Cadbury's page on Facebook, you will see that there are 40 million likes. Cadbury's Dairy Milk page on Facebook has 40 million likes, and there is zero, almost zero. I mean, some people may be buying from Big Basket Cadbury's, but then almost zero buying in the pure online space, and yet they have spent so much money in doing product marketing, right? So then in this context, maybe in this genre where there is high engagement required to buy a product but low price, soaps, detergents, typical FMCG kind of sectors, in this context your product marketing would probably become very close to branding. Create such a brand recall, creating top of mind brand recall becomes your biggest goal in product marketing. Yeah, so I think that's where product marketing would evolve as a profession in this kind of a sector. Now let's look at some other sectors wherein there is a high value of the product but high standardization as well, or low engagement. Can you define one such product here? Anyone? AC, sure. Absolutely. AC, laptops, electronics. Yeah, iPhones. iPhones have now largely become standardized. Air tickets. Air tickets. So for example, air tickets, electronics. Yeah. It is, but then iPhone, you have been buying iPhones for so many years now. So now people have a fair idea of what to expect from an iPhone. Yes, what you are saying is right. People want to look at the dual camera, what kind of portrait mode pictures are there, can be taken and all of that. But still, as a category, you can say that this is high value, but now tending towards high standardization. Imagine air tickets. Air tickets at the end of the day, if you want to travel, it is a highly standardized product. Yes, prices may vary depending on season, depending on brand of airline that you are going for. But over here, if you think of this particular type of sector, high standardization, low engagement and high value of product service. Yeah, in this context, you will realize that digital will play a very massive role. Air tickets, almost all air tickets are bought digitally today. Yeah, electronics, again, electronics I would say massive role is played by digital media, particularly in the research phase, wherein the consumer is researching or consumer is shortlisting. There is a lot of discussion. So for example, I'm sure a lot of you who must have bought mobile phones in the last 6 months must have put up a Facebook message. I am looking for a mobile phone in this price range, or I am looking for a mobile phone which has high memory. Give me recommendations. So I feel in this context, digital will play a massive role. So in this context, this is the place where product marketing will become a massive ROI oriented marketing. Wherever digital sort of starts playing a bigger and bigger role, in that context, I would say there would be a large factor of what kind of an ROI can you generate. If I am putting 1 rupee, can I get 4 rupees or can I get 4.2 rupees or can I get 5 rupees in return? Yeah. So almost here in this context, a marketer is almost becoming the sales head. As we go ahead, obviously there will be channels. So I mean, nobody would argue that iPhone is also sold offline, and probably the majority of sales of iPhone are still offline. Yeah, nobody would argue that. But the point over here is, as a product gets more and more standardized, the role of digital in this particular area will play a major role, and in this context, the marketer will almost start becoming a revenue center. Right? Today, still in this quadrant or this quadrant, you would say marketing is still a cost center. In this quadrant, however, marketing becomes a revenue center as more and more digital sort of plays a role in getting your customers. Now let's look at this quadrant, right? Now in this quadrant, what happens is, Can you give me examples of this? Yeah, cars, absolutely. So cars, homes, absolutely. Very nice. So cars, real estate, all your B2B, high value products, absolutely. B2B, right? Software. Yes, absolutely. Anything that is sold B2B would be somewhere over here, right? You are very high value of product and very high engagement, right? So all in this space, if you think about product marketing, in this space is where product marketing really plays different roles. So for example, Byju would be somewhere over here. Byju is not as expensive as a car, but still quite expensive as compared to FMCG. Yeah. So in this context, what role does product marketing play? So marketing may not really do direct sales. So car is not sold online. Education, for example, is very hard to sell online. Yes, we are trying but at the same time, education, the final sale has to happen offline. If you have seen how education has evolved. Yeah. Similarly, real estate. How much ever Snapdeal tried to sell homes in Gurgaon worth 40 lakhs offline. Finally the sale happens online, happens offline, wherein people go, people visit, people see, and then is where the golden handshake happens. Yeah. So in this context, product marketing sort of plays dual role. One role is of massive branding, the kind of brand perception that you build and all of that. Also, product marketing plays a massive role in lead gen. Right? Product marketing's goal would be to do lead generation and lead enrichment. Right? Product plus marketing sort of combines to create better and better lead pools. Right? I mean, at some level, while obviously it's very crude to classify customers as lead pools, but product marketing in all of these places is trying to sort of create better and better and better lead pools. So for example, cars. If you have seen any car website, right? You go to a Honda, you go to a Toyota, you go to a Maruti, all of these places, right? They will be all talking about book a test drive. Again, trying to create lead pools, right? You go to a car dealership, they'll immediately take you to a test drive. The point over there is the massive insight that they sort of found out is that test drive to conversion is at least 2x better than a talk to a conversion. Yeah. So then these kind of things. So at the end of in this context, product marketing changes definition and sort of becomes a lead gen plus a lead enrichment kind of a tool, wherein marketers are always challenged to create more and more lead pools which are more and more enriched and such that can the sales team be given leads that are almost convinced to pay. Yeah. So that is where probably this sector would lie. Yeah, so product marketing, I would say, again changes definition in different sectors, but then depending on what kind of sector you lie in, that is how product marketing would evolve. So product marketing does not have one single definition, in my opinion. Yeah. So that's about product marketing. Now, where does product marketing become equivalent to branding? So I would say product marketing becomes equivalent to branding in this kind of a sector, right? High engagement but low price. In this context, product marketing becomes almost equivalent to branding, because the better the brand perception that I create, here marketing's major goal is top of mind recall. Whenever the need arises, whenever they feel like buying a toothpaste, they should think Colgate. Whenever they think of buying some milkshake, milk protein, they should think of Bonvita. Something like that. Yeah. So in this context, probably product marketing becomes equivalent to a branding. Yeah. Yeah. So that's about your first two sort of questions. Now let's talk about strategic versus tactical initiatives. But over here there is another challenge, right? So lead gen is not just a challenge. Branding is there, but then lead gen and lead enrichment. See, what happens is So for example, why does Accenture only, so what is Accenture? Their typical cost of sale would be $1 million in the US. Their typical cost of sale in India would be 1 crore, 2 crore rupees. So then what they do over here is absolutely branding. But probably what Byju's does is drive people to download and then make them better and better leads. Absolutely, what you are saying is right. But then over here it's not only branding. Over here it is also about kind of making better and better and better and better lead pools. Right? So again, it depends on where you are in this quadrant. Yeah. So that's my view on the larger product marketing and branding piece. Now, strategic versus tactical. Yeah. So frankly speaking, when you are implementing an initiative, at least for like first 30 days, it's literally impossible to decide whether this initiative is strategic or this initiative is tactical. Yeah. So for example, if you are a company that has not done a particular thing, say for example you have not used Facebook as a tool for digital marketing. Now obviously initially whatever you will be doing taking baby steps. You might be hiring an agency, you might be figuring out, okay, these are my top customers, let's see how they behave over here. At that level, the initiative becomes tactical, right? However, the initiative becomes strategic once you figure out a product market fit. So I am sure lots of people must have discussed product market fit over here, right? Product market fit does not only happen for a business. Product market fit happens also for a small initiative. So who knows? For example, whether we can get good students to download Byju's app by showing ads within games, right? Within that, so for example, you figure out that, okay, there are different kinds of games. There are arcade games, there are challenge adventure games, there are chess type of games. Then there are these engagement type of games, right? Which genre works for us better? Which genre gives us children which have high propensity to use products online, right? So over there also, in this initiative also, you are trying to figure out the product market fit. How can I find better children who use my product often from an arcade game or something else? Or is this classification itself wrong? Right? Or should I do incentivized downloads or not? Or in these kind of initiatives also there is a product market fit. Wherever you find a product market fit, there, as soon as you find the product market fit, that yes, this is good, then that initiative sort of converts into a strategic initiative, because then you will scale that initiative. But till such time, all these things are tactical only. And we all started with literally almost 95% of all our initiatives were thought of as tactical. This tactical versus strategic is a post facto rationalization. Yeah, in my opinion. Everything starts small. You figure out what is happening, whether this works or not. Is the cost of customer acquisition fine? Can it be brought down? As I scale, will the quality decay substantially? Right? So for example, if you look at a channel like, let's not take name some website, but if you look at financial sites, these BSE, NSE kind of tracking financial sites, a money control or this thing, NSE India and all of that. If you push these sites too much for customer acquisition, the quality will drop substantially. Yeah, in terms of the quality of people that you get. So then there is always a limit. How much can you scale from a particular channel, right? So in this context, determining to what extent can you go is also important. So any initiative that starts tactical, it becomes strategic if you can scale it substantially. If you can scale it substantially but without losing on the quality quotient, then that initiative becomes strategic, in my opinion. Yeah. Then coming to challenges in marketing for Byju's. Yeah. So challenges in marketing for Byju's. So Byju's started as Byju's classes. Byju's very much like, if you have seen Bangalore, and if you are from Bangalore, opposite Forum Mall was our first center. Yeah, and that's how we started, and it has grown as a class till 2011. Around 2011 we started with VSAT and all of those kind of technology. And 2015 was when 2014 we launched the app for our existing classes users, and 2015 we launched an app on the Play Store, and that's where the sort of the whole scale and all of the scale funding, all of that happened, right? In terms of challenges for marketing, obviously, one of the big challenges for marketing is in education in general, not only for Byju's, is that the product user is not the same as the decision maker. Yeah, the parent is the decision maker, whether you buy it or not, the product or not, and the user is the child. So somewhere the parent has to see value, and the biggest problem was that, hey, even now the biggest problem, in fact, the whole product, if you have seen our ad, one of our ads before the Shah Rukh Khan ad was about the child doing something and the parent coming and peeping. Are you using the app for entertainment? So the perception is, we wanted to break the perception that, hey, the child can actually study on your phone. Yeah, parents still feel, right, that, hey, mobile phone pe, if you are doing something, you are probably filtering your time away. So that perception needed to be changed. Have you seen that commercial? Just maybe play it. Yes, I'm coming. Absolutely. Very much. So glad to answer this. So yeah, so this is.
Mom, dad think all I do is play video games.
My dad ना
अब देखना चेक करने के लिए डैड को भेजेंगी.
Mom is here again.
Now watch this. 3, 2, 1. Physics, Dad.
it's biology.
It's chemistry, Dad.
Pa, it's math.
Take a circle, fill it with circles. Cut and open. Outer circle is a line now of length 2 pi r. Lines above shorter and shorter till it's a triangle with area pi r square.
Come fall in love with learning. Download Byju's, the learning app.
कहते हैं जब प्यार हो जाता है तो वायलेंस बजने लगते हैं, बट फॉर अ चेंज इस लव स्टोरी का हीरो मैं नहीं.
ये ABC का टैग दिया,
4 points को join किया.
लेफ्ट राइट ऊपर नीचे,
Shift करके mark किया.
फिर किया अलग A square और B square को. A square plus B square equal to C square.
काश हमारे टाइम में भी पढ़ाई कुछ ऐसी होती. And our mommies and daddies. So let our children fall in love with learning. Download Byju's, the learning app.
Why is that? The answer is, the whole parent and the child becoming the user. So somewhere you have to talk to the parents, and parents have to be told like, hey, this is something that you can try. It's like this as a whole ad is like a business card. So if you are handed over education related business cards, you are handed over dime a dozen in different contexts, right? So the thought was that, hey, with an SRK card, with a card that features SRK, probably a parent would have a second look. So today what has happened is, a parent which would normally say, kya Byju's? Today now says, I've seen the ad on with SRK. So that is the larger change that has happened. Absolutely. And that still creates an enough of a window of opportunity for us to talk, get them to download the app. Yeah. Yes. Correct. So our paid product is not the mobile app. So our paid product is not extending the subscription. Our paid product is a Lenovo tablet or a Samsung tablet or an iPad, where you have everything inside the product. So we insert an SD card in a Lenovo and a Samsung tablet, and you can consume it. So that is our paid product. So another problem that parents also had was, they did not have internet all over. So you had to solve that problem as well. Parents want their children to access this heavy content, media rich kind of a content anywhere. That problem also gets solved by the SD card. So our product is not really a streaming only app. Our product is also an offline consumption ready app, wherein you just have to sync so that new updates get downloaded. So that is how we have sort of quasi solved the problem. But now obviously with Geo and all these networks becoming better and better, I think maybe 3 years down the line it will all become all converted into a streaming kind of a thing. Yes. Yes. So very good question. I mean, yes, absolutely. So completely agree with the use case. What is happening is, India, the larger aspiration, overwhelming aspiration of everyone is to learn in English. However bad your English might be. Yeah. At the same time, you obviously, as you are pointing out, maybe beyond the top 20% of population, I would say the grasping power of English is low, even now. Yeah. So that's where I think what happens is, that's where the whole richness of the content sort of takes over, where everything is shown in a language independent kind of a manner. So we are definitely doing some experiment, but then still it's too early to sort of say, okay, should we learn 5 languages or 15 languages? See, more than anything else, India as a nation is more USI, United States of India, than the USA itself. At least in the US there are only 2 languages, English, Spanish. And here every language itself changes within like 50 kilometers. Yeah, I mean the Kannada of Belgaum is very different from a Kannada of Bangalore. So it is that dynamic, the whole landscape. So that's where solving this problem is hard. So right now we said, okay, at least let's solve the problem for English first. The English language itself would be a good start, as long as you are able to deliver a consistent product and a product that can add value. Of course, see, there are so many things. So why only maths and science is another big question. Who says that English is not tough? Who says that social studies is easy? But at the same time, you have to start somewhere. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So Khan Academy, if you try to see Khan Academy videos, right, or ask a child to see Khan Academy videos, and again this is very much research, but then what happens in a Khan Academy kind of a context is, only those children which are already interested in that subject are able to continue watching Khan Academy videos. Yeah. Part of the reason is also that it's on YouTube. Yeah. And YouTube, the consumption pattern of any individual is markedly different as compared to inside a Byju's app. That's one. Secondly, there are not everyone is at the same level with respect to their competence in a maths or a science. So you have to adapt as a technologist or technology company or as an EdTech company to the child's or to the students' level, learning speed, pace of learning, the size of learning, all of that has to adapt. So it's not a one size fits all kind of a solution. So that's what we are trying. If you have seen our latest product, which we launched like 8 months back, the product has been changed into something called a journeys. It's not just a video product. It's not a video library. Yeah, it's not a Netflix with huge number of video libraries anymore. Every chapter, every subtopic has been broken into journey. Yeah. 3-minute journey. Then you take a question. If you answer the question wrongly, you are again redirected. Go to 2 minutes 17 seconds and watch the video afterwards, and then answer this question again. It adapts to whatever you are doing. And that is very important. See, what happens is if you start throwing bouncers to someone who cannot hit straight drives, that guy will freak out and move out of the stadium. You have to be as a teacher, you have to be nimble enough to adapt to your class and what they are talking about and all of that. Similarly, on the technology, in tech also you have to adapt to what the child is doing, how the child is responding. Yeah. So that's where I think we feel that that's where the differentiation will sort of come through. How can you sort of analyze a child's learning patterns and make them evolve into better learners for every subject. So for example, the learning pattern in a chemistry would be very different from a learning pattern in maths. Yeah. In maths, what happens is a lot of children, in somewhere in 5th and 6th standard, they develop this morbid fear of going wrong. Trust me on this, guys. We feel hey, at this stage, we feel okay. What's wrong in getting a 45 on 50 marks? But you ask the child gets freaked out. How can I get 45 on 50? And at that time, if there is no level-headed person talking to the child and saying, hey, okay, no problem. The next time we'll improve. If that kind of an advice is not given to the child at that point, they develop a morbid fear of making mistakes. Yeah, and that's where sort of we feel learning patterns, all of that needs to be addressed, and that even if the child goes wrong, you have to be able to tell the child, okay, hey, go to this particular location, watch it again, and then I answer this. So the idea is can it be a continuous learning rather than saying, okay, you are wrong. Let's move on. That's where sort of we feel the whole approach of children towards maths and science can be modified in a significant way. Yeah, so that's challenges in marketing. The current challenge in marketing is obviously scale. How can we go to more and more people? Obviously we feel now the product is ready and it's time to go to market really in a massive way. So, challenges today are, can I sort of make my money work harder? Yeah, can I use the same tactics that worked for me? Probably the same tactics that worked for me maybe 18 months back. Now it won't, right? So how can I ensure that I am getting a bang for my buck? Can I introduce measurability into marketing? Yeah. So for example, TV, outdoor. How do we measure? TV, outdoor also you must have heard of these beacons and all of that. They are giving us data. But then what do I do with that data? Suppose a beacon which is there in Coimbatore, main outdoor of Coimbatore, tells me that there are 5,540 cars that saw this billboard. I don't know whether to be happy or sad about it. Yeah, it's just data, and heaps of data are getting generated every day based on one particular spot in IPL. Now we can map in the next 10 minutes how many downloaded. Yeah, but then what do I do with it, with all this data? How do I use this data to make decisions? Frankly speaking, most marketers today are like flooded with data. I mean, how do I figure out, hey, what is the metric? Finding the metric and going deeper into those metrics becomes very, very important, because as you scale, obviously if there is any resource that is there that is as important as money, probably is time. Yeah, probably more important than money. More important than money spent is the time. How do I optimize the best, make the best decisions within the given time span? Whether to sponsor a football World Cup or not, becomes a large question. So yeah, those are the kind of challenges that come if you want to sponsor the football World Cup, whether it will perform better or worse than IPL. Now, football World Cup is there in prime time. Yeah. So football World Cup is in prime time, but then football World Cup is likely to be watched by youth than parents, which is what mommies and daddies that Shah Rukh is talking to. Yeah. So whether to sponsor a football World Cup or not, how do we look at past data? How did 2014 football World Cup perform? So 2015 football World Cup was in Brazil. Now Brazil football World Cup was at 3:30 AM. So it doesn't make sense to look at that. Then you have to go to South Africa. South Africa's football World Cup. What were the ratings? And again, what would be the percentage share? So it's a lot of I would say lot of guesstimates are involved here. As to whether a football World Cup will generate a good enough ROI. Yeah, and obviously rates are not small of these kind of things, these kind of sports. Right? For football World Cup, the media broadcaster would obviously say that okay, a football World Cup happens only once in 4 years. Plus, like IPL, it's a 30-day continuous event. Yeah, and probably the world is glued to it. So then why not India? Yeah. So yeah, so these kind of challenges are there in marketing. Collaterals. So collaterals, obviously collaterals change everywhere. So in a BTL context, collaterals are different. What you are doing in BTL, whether you are going to a school, whether you are going to a colony, whether you are going to a corporate. Obviously your BTLs have to talk different. They have to talk their language, that particular area's language. If you are doing an activity in mall, your language has to be markedly different. Yeah, and also what messaging you go to. Whether are you going over there for a sale or a lead gen or what? That also matters a lot in collaterals. So collaterals would be very important. The kind of mix, and that mix sort of evolves. So that's what again, any kind of marketing, new initiative within marketing. So for example, you are say going to bookstores. For example, bookstores would be a challenge for us, right? There again, you will do a small experiments in different markets. Understand how that channel performs. Then see what are the constraints, the limitations of the channel. Whether there is seasonality in that channel. Yeah. All those things would matter, and then you would decide the kind of collaterals, the investments, all of that. But do experiments in a small controlled kind of a way. Figure out the product market fit. Again, product market fit for that initiative, and then you scale. Again, same. I mean, it's literally the same as doing a mini startup within a controlled environment. Yeah. So in marketing, I would say marketing still functions as a mini startup only, wherein you figure out, hey, this is something that might work, try it out, try and improve it to the best possible way, and then sort of give it your best shot. And if it doesn't happen, then you should be willing to move on. If the metrics aren't met, if the results aren't met, then you should be willing to move on, and that happens. Yeah. So that is about collaterals, product marketing, branding. Yeah. Now marketing communication. I think is marketing communication part of product marketing? Yes, probably that is the only thing that product marketing consists of. What do you communicate? So all these words, so mummies and daddies, all of that went through lots of iterations. Now we didn't want to alienate the children, right? So then there is a large part of that children play in the earlier part of the commercial, right? So all of those factors, obviously, I mean, it is all about marketing communication. It's all about communication only. In fact, you cannot create obviously a commercial that sort of plays down someone or something like that, right? So it's all about communication. It's all about tonality. It's about seasonality again. You know, what communication do you make in a February? It has to be different as compared to the communication that you make in a July or in right now. Yeah, because it's just different seasons, right? So I just play one more thing. We did a very interesting thing. So again, this was all about communication. Has anyone seen this?
पढ़ ले नहीं तो डांट पड़ेगी.
Nani?
अब बॉर्नवीटा के साथ बायजूस 1 month सब्सक्रिप्शन फ्री और साथ ही 20 rupees off.
So this happened in February. This wouldn't have worked in June. You know, the pressure कि पढ़ ले नहीं तो डांट पड़ेगी is valid only in February. Yeah, it does not work in a May. May में कहाँ पढ़ ले? Yeah, so again seasonality plays a massive role in this. So May, Feb, March, the commercial played in that period. Yeah. So again, you know, these are again this is all seasonality, right? Exams is a seasonal phenomenon. So you have to play the season. You have to play. So you know, in a Valentine's Day, for example, the communication that a Mintra will play has to be markedly different from a Dasera. You know, it's about the flavor of the season. It's about, you know, communicating the right thing. Yeah, and again, you know, so this commercial was played by Bonvita for us. You know, very good question. Yeah, actually, so you know, partnering with other brands very important to, you know, figure out whether it's a win-win. Any brand partner that you sort of go with has to be a win-win. So you know, exam season is the most important season for this segment as well. You know, so it's all moms think that okay, what do I do so that I get maximum ROI out of a Bonvita or a Horlicks or a Milo? No, it is all about that. See, if you're in a store and you have all these products, all these things, right? Okay, where do I get maximum value? Now if Bonvita is playing this 1 month free card, probably more moms will pick up Bonvita from the shelves. Yeah, so it's all about creating win-wins. Yeah, absolutely. So sort of they obviously, you know, they had this need. We also figured out, you know, the conversation sort of went on for a year. You know, my colleague, my batchmate from my MBA college. So again, this cohort as a class, 10 years down the line, would be in different positions in different places. Something similar happened. So one of my colleagues who went to an IMA at similar time when I went to see was doing brand management at Cadbury. So we talked and we figured out, okay, this is something that can be done, and we created this concept, presented it to both places, and both of them liked it. We created this. So you know, this happens, and trust me on this, guys, this will happen in this class. Okay, so you know, that's where the whole you know, networking, creating relationships will matter. Yeah, I mean, how do you otherwise go to these brands which are in different sectors and come together and create a win-win? Absolutely. It is very much an uphill battle. Yes. Yeah. So I don't want to get into the specifics, but then, you know, I just give an example of, hey, seasonality, what kind of role seasonality plays. Yeah. But then see, at the end of the day, they are also trying to. This is their peak season. Exam is their season. If they do not pick up in the exam season, then the pickup won't happen for them. So it's same for us. Maximum product trials would happen in an exam season. Okay, I don't understand this concept. Now what to do? 5 days to exam. Okay, abhi to Byju's download kar. Yeah. No, so again, but that would not be a next ad in May. It could be the next ad in September. Yeah. So again, it's all about talking the language of the season. Yeah. So right now, the ad that we are playing is the Pythagoras ad with SRP. Yeah? So you have to talk the language of the season. You have to talk the communication that is relevant to the season as well. Yeah. So very important. So for Children's Day we did something very interesting. I'll show you.
So what made you go ahead with Byju's, the learning app?
There are a couple of things. I'm a big believer of learning and education. And when my kids were growing up, that's Aryan and Suhana, the little one's still too little. I was always looking for ways to teach them. I was always looking out for something which is digital, which is attractive. Apart from that, it is kind of, gets the kids' attention instead of teaching it the conventional way, which I think is wonderful. But sometimes when parents need to teach, I think even teachers need to teach, if it is somehow more visual, it just becomes easier to understand. So that's when I saw the ads of Byju's, and then as a matter of fact, when your team came to see me, I told them all, maybe I'm not the best fit because I'm someone who'd like to work on Byju's and learn from it instead of telling people to use Byju's. So yeah, genuinely I really believe that if the medium can become more visual, from the time that I was educating myself to now, and now that we have access to media like that and visualization like that, and especially the things that you show on Byju's, when I've seen the ads with that little string thing happening, and so I really like it. I think it's easier to learn if visually something becomes, especially the sciences. I'm sure the other subjects also can be in tune with that. But I think, yeah, if there is a visual medium, digital medium, and then now kids are all the time on the telephone or an iPad. And if you allow
crazy fraction, and we release this on Children's Day. Again, marketing communication has to be topical. Marketing communication has to be relevant, right? You have to talk the language of the season. You have to talk an endearing language. Your messaging has to be positive. Yeah, I think that's very important. I would say product marketing is all about marketing communication, both in not only in the marketing context, but also in the product onboarding context. In the onboarding context, it has to be, if a child is told that, hey, this app will help you score more marks, probably children won't download the app. You have to make it fun. You have to make it visual. You have to make it really, animations and all of that. If you have seen our 4th and 5th app, it's about rescuing the princess by going around the world and solving some easy question. That's how the app is made. Children should play with it as if they are playing games. That's the philosophy we have adopted for lower grades. It's about marketing communication is not only that. Marketing communication is not just the words. It's also the feel, the tone, the colors, depending on the age group that you're targeting, and again being topical. Yeah. So that's Yeah, he spoke on he spoke on his own. This was just before we launched the SRK. Yeah. So far, yes. Yes. Baiju Ravindran is our founder. So in every class, Bansal classes, Kota. Bansal is the name of the founder. So Baiju is the name of the founder. Yeah, Baiju's classes. So Baiju Ravindran's classes. Yeah, absolutely. Very much. So that is also there, very much. That is still there. So what has happened is now the communication has become more school oriented because that's the bigger market. The CAT, at the end of the day, you have 2 lakh students writing CAT, and there are 20 crore students who are in 4 to 12. there is no comparison. Yeah. So your communication all has to be school centric because it's because of the number of just the market size. Sure. Very good question. So watch out for something that I am working on currently. Maybe that will answer that. Yeah. So absolutely. So so far we haven't answered the what's in it for me question. You'll see that soon. Hopefully, touch wood. Yeah. Again. So then marketing communication, resource allocation. Yeah, resource allocation is a very good question actually. Resource allocation is one of the most important sort of things in the overall marketing communication context. Major reason being, again, can I make my money work harder? Same, just like a product manager. A product manager has to figure out whether a particular product change creates enough of a behavioral change that benefits customers as well as benefits the company. Similarly, a marketing manager has to evaluate whether the resources that you are putting creates more bang for the buck as compared to earlier. Yeah, and this has to be evaluated literally every day. Every day you try to evolve. Every day you try to get deeper, go for deeper and deeper metrics. Yeah. So for example, a marketing manager is in fact in charge in a tech company like Byju's. We have to look at the kind of the quality of installs, whether we are getting installs from those places where we have our physical offices, whether we are getting installs from people who are engaging. Second day login, for example, for any app for that matter, second day login is a very important metric. What is the percentage of people who download your app today also log in tomorrow? Second day login, second login is what we call it. So that again is a metric. So then the kind of leads or kind of people who marketing gets to download the app will have a large bearing on what is the second login percentage. So second login percentage sort of almost becomes a KRA. Yeah. So all of this sort of plays a massive role in resource allocation. So whether you put more money into ATL or more money into BTL or more money into digital, it is all a function of how can we. So it's a very good question actually. Schools, So right now the communication is to the students and parents. So the larger piece of larger pieces in a school context, schools have a set pattern. Schools have a set medium of instruction, medium of delivery of course and all of that. For a school to adapt to something that is still nascent, okay, in terms of it has not been proven that technology would improve pedagogy by 100%, for example. Yeah, for a school to adapt to this has to go through majority of loops, a lot of loops. So the director has to be convinced. If the director is convinced, then the people below him have to be below him or her have to be convinced, right? And even if there is a roadblock somewhere there, then it creates a tussle internally, whether we should adapt this for our pedagogy or not. So it's still, schools will evolve. Eventually, schools will evolve. Right now, it is adapted at a parent level because parents know their problems of their children much better than school knowing problems of cohorts of children. Yeah. So that's where it is. So I would say EdTech today is at a place where e-commerce was in 2010. It's still very nascent. It's still, people are still finding out whether this is good or not. People are finding out whether this is all just Shah Rukh Khan's another gimmick or this is really a good product or not. It's still at an exploration. It's still at a very nascent stage. So yeah, that's where EdTech is, and I think that's where there is a huge interest in the EdTech space right now. So if you have seen the kind of fundings that people are able to raise, definitely there is massive interest. But then at the same time, EdTech is not about just setting up a store and starting selling. You know, that's what happened with e-commerce, right? You can just create a ready to go platform and start selling. Yeah, EdTech is not about that. EdTech is about content. You know, at the end of the day, when we went for our 12th standard tuitions or 10th standard tuition, we did not go because the class was AC. We did not go because the class used whiteboard. We went for the teacher, right? So it's all about how you deliver content, how you can explain the concept. I think, and all that takes time to, you know, build. We have been building this product for 10 years now, nearly. So if you think about the evolution of Byju's, you know, we definitely did the digital product for more than 7 years. So it has taken time. It has taken lots of iteration. What you are seeing is probably product iteration of 6th or 7th iteration. You know, so it has taken a lot of time, and if you just, you know, visit sometimes Byju's office, you know, you realize they are all hard at work to release the next iteration. You know, it's good fun. Yeah. So that's how resource allocation. So B2B. So B2B again, you know, think about B2B over here. And in B2B, it's not just about branding, as I said. You know, it's also about quality of lead gen. But then again, it depends on what is the price band that you are selling. Yeah, it's about it. You know, can I use different media that I have to create better and better cohorts of leads, such that I can influence them in digital, influence them in some other media, wherever they are there. Yeah. So so for example, you know, if you see Paytm has taken a very different approach to ads as compared to an ICICI. Paytm has, at the end of the day, Paytm is a bank, payments bank now. Paytm is a bank. Did you see their IPL ad recently? They are talking about bank transfer with a cashback. Yeah. So again, it's a very different approach. It's a radical approach, radical change in the approach. Yeah. So it's about, you know, bank which was thought of as a very much a B2B business for in terms of loans. Here is the company that is challenging it. You know, trying to get massive number of people first already on board to understand that, hey, you can use Paytm as a bank. Yeah, and make it more and more relevant. So it's a very different, you know, I trust me, you know, if the Paytm approach, if it gets adopted, it could create a massive disruption in the overall financial services industry, right? Because if Paytm starts getting used as a bank, Paytm in terms of usability is far better than bank apps for sure. Yeah. So then there is a, I mean, right now I would say something similar to usability is probably the UPI apps that have been created, a Pays or a PhonePe or all those kind of apps. But apart from that, I don't see any other app which has usability comparable to Paytm. It can just disrupt. First, given that UPI protocol is being used everywhere, you know, why not? If Paytm has the largest number of users, it can create a massive disruption. Yeah. In terms of B2B, another point that we can definitely say is, you know, B2B is still evolving. B2B is still the kind of channels that we use, the customer onboarding, what do we communicate with customers, the remarketing, all of those pieces are still evolving. You know, what can definitely happen in the context of B2B is you can use digital to make the customer understand products much better. That's what companies are doing today. Look at a Just Dial kind of a company where the revenue model is all B2B, right? They are all there is a customer context wherein Amitabh is talking to the customers, and then there is a business context where digital is being used more and more to automate all the customer onboarding processes and all of that. Yeah. So that's where things are going. Now, yeah, what do I do day to day? Very, very nice question. Day to day, what do I do? So I would say most important part of the day is, you know, figuring out where we are and sort of optimizing. You know, at the end of the day, there are n number of things that you can do. There is always a digital marketing agency that is telling you that, hey, your digital marketing that you are doing is shit, and you can do this much better. Yeah. Or there is another BTL team that is saying that, hey, we can revolutionize this for you. Or there is a There is a media channel, you know, some top media and entertainment channel that is ready to present their best, their new age program, which is perfect for you, right? But at the same time, you have to optimize and prioritize for what is your priority and sort of deliver. So, you know, a day is not, no 2 days are same. But the goal has to be to, you know, make the best use of time and sort of deliver on something that will give you maximum bang for the buck. Yeah, that's how I still look at my days. Can I create something that delivers maximum bang for the buck? Can I create something that can actually make things much better for my team? And in various contexts, in digital, in ATL, in BTL. Yeah, and that's how I would look at it. Yes. Or non-metros, yes. So, which ad is showing about metros? That might be a perception. But yes, so what happens in a non-metro context is, non-metros, there is a large fear of missing out. See, if you think about it, if you go to a place like, you know, Jamnagar, yeah, there is a large fear that, you know, hey, we are not getting the best teachers. So Byju's solves that problem over there. If you take up Byju's, probably, you know, you can still get the best of learning sitting out of Jamnagar, sitting out of a Jodhpur, sitting out of a Jamshedpur, sitting out of maybe Asansol. Yeah. So obviously there is a large movement in terms of education. Education fundamentally is not an aspiration. Education is a need. Yeah, and education is one of the, so trust me, you know what, I'll tell you one incident that happened this Monday morning for me. I went to my office and, you know, there was someone sitting in my cabin, and so I was talking to them. So, you know, they had come with their full family, the father, mother and 2 children, one child in 7th, another child in 6th. So then I asked them, you know, what they are doing and all that. What he told me was, I'm an Ola driver, yeah, and he told me, yes. So, you know, so I asked him, you know, okay, so you are taking this and all. So why are you taking this? So he said, you know, no, I want my children to learn in English, and I don't want them to drive cabs like I am doing. So, you know, it's that kind of a sector, you know. You know, one of the biggest things that motivates me to sort of work in this sector, education, is that, you know, you are really helping change probably, you know, some people's lives, and most of us probably have grown in industry and have grown in whatever we are doing. A significant portion of that credit goes to our education. Yeah, the kind of learning that we had in our formative years, not only academic but also experiential learning. Yeah, so I think that's what sort of plays a large role. You know, again, you know, it's education is very much a need. Education is not an aspiration. So that's where all the non-metros are sort of giving us traction. Yeah. So the app is free for first 15 days. After that, the videos sort of get locked beyond the point. So, you know, if you see more than 10 videos or whatever, you know, you have to unlock it. To unlock it, you know, just pay or something. That is the kind of communication that happens. Huh? No, so payment does not happen online. You know, you have to talk to the parent, you have to talk to the child. Yeah. It is about different. The pricing is anywhere about 15 to 25,000 depending on the grade. And obviously, if you buy multiple grades, the cost per grade reduces. Yes. Actually, so, you know, there's no such segment that is sort of not making money. And at the end of the day, you know, the product is made. So what sort of happens is, obviously, you know, different regions have a different affinity for different grades. So definitely, you know, if you think of 4th to 5th, the parents that are taking up this are more convinced that technology would add value to children. So that's why the propensity to buy for them is high. The parents who are usually 11th to 12th grade, for them it is important to support their children in the most critical years of their academics. So even there the propensity is high, right? And then obviously if you have bought it for one sibling, then why not buy it for the other siblings? All those kind of factors play. So there is no such segment that is profitable for us and another that is not unprofitable. Some segments perform better than others. Classroom, of course. So we have classrooms in Bangalore, Chennai, and Delhi. That also works for us. Yeah, of course. So it works complementary, but largely our larger focus is still the online piece. Yeah. What kind of skills? So definitely, someone who is curious, very, very important. See, at the end of the day, at your levels, you are not only hired for execution of a plan. And obviously, once you sort of get into a product marketing kind of a role, you will be executing your plans, obviously. But you are not hired only for execution. You have to look out for the next big idea. So thinking is a large part of whatever you do. Thinking of what is an idea, thinking of how it will align to the existing setup, how it will align with sales, how it will align with ops, how it will align in different regions. Whether you can think and whether you can think, you can be flexible in sort of challenging your own notions in say 2 months down the line and improve on them. All those things are very important. So that sort of comes through when you are talking. For example, you are talking about your past experience, talking about your skill set, talking about a case study. How can you think on your feet and create value within your existing limitations? There are obviously n number of limitations. There are brand guidelines, there are customer sales priorities, there are company priorities, there are customer priorities. In that you have to sort of create a win-win kind of a situation and then scale it, right? So that is what you require. Curiosity is required. There is some amount of experience that you look at, whether you have actually dabbled into these things. Yeah, you have done something on your own. How enterprising are you? All those things you sort of definitely look at. Obviously, not discounting the other things like education and your experience and all of that. That is also a given. But then I'm just talking about at the interview stage. This is what sort of happens at a product marketing end. Yeah, great. So guys, it was nice talking, and happy to sort of share my contact coordinates. Yeah, that's my email ID. Yeah, so please write to me if you have something to talk, something to share. Please do not expect a 1 hour reply, but definitely will reply in 24 to 48 hours. Yeah, great. It's nice talking, nice session, guys, and yeah, all the best.